The year is 1993. Well, 1994, because this is the 1994 VHS release, but it's 30 years of Doctor Whame.
Doctor Whame, Doctor Whame, Doctor... Sorry.
And to celebrate, the BBC put together a documentary called 30 Years in the TARDIS. Then in 1994 it gets re-released with an additional 40 minutes of footage.
Is that the one we watched?
We watched the hour-and-a-half version.
Yeah.
Aye.
Oh, God.
More than 30 years in the TARDIS. I'm Chris.
Rickety old TARDIS!
Rickety old TARDIS! I'm Chris.
I'm not Chris.
And you're watching Doctor Review. Husband and wife watching Doctor Whom from the very beginning. What?
Oh.
Welcome to our, I guess, 6th bonus video this would be. The first one we talked about adaptations, specifically the 2 Dalek movies and the TV drama Adventure in Space and Time. We have talked about Shadash! We've talked about K9 and Company. We've talked about the worst song ever released. And we've talked about Dimensions in Time, the worst thing to ever raise lots of money for a good cause. Today, Today we're delighted to talk about More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS because this is just freaking lovely, isn't it?
It is.
I've watched this probably 5 or 6 times before. This was your first ever viewing.
It was.
I knew it was going to mean a lot more to me this time as a retrospective of the show having completed now over 2 and a bit years our marathon of the original run. And as it opened, like I turned to you and I was like, look at my arm. And my hairs were standing on end.
It was weird.
It was lovely. How was it for
sad,
you?
Really.
Oh, wow. How was it, you bastard?
I'm joking.
How was it for you, having just come out of this marathon? What did you think of More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS?
Well, I think we watched it at a perfect time because we've had a little break, haven't we, from watching Doctor Who?
Yeah, we finished, as of recording this, we finished Survival about 3 and a bit weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then yesterday we watched Dimensions in Time and recorded that video.
Yeah, we literally did the last video today.
So we've purposefully had a bit of a break.
I mean, yesterday.
We've purposely had a bit of a break between finishing the run and picking up the 1993 stuff.
Yeah, so what I was saying was, it's like perfect timing, I think, because I'm at that point where I'm a bit like, oh, let's watch... There's a couple of times where I've said, well, let's watch Doctor...
Which we will. There's plenty more for us to watch.
Yeah, no, of course,
but not yet.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's...
So having this
strange,
kind of...
It's strange knowing that we're not going to be watching Classic Who anymore. So this was nice because we got to see all of our favourite characters and all of our favourite stories and stuff in one.
Yeah.
And kind of recapping everything.
Could you describe to the layman what More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS is?
It's a documentary celebrating everything Doctor Who, really. So they go through the actors that have played the Doctor, the actors that have played the companions, all the monsters and the sets and things like that. And it's getting everybody involved, which is really... I really, really like things like this because it's not... It's showing people, the audience, not just the actors on the screen, but showing everybody that works on it behind the scenes.
Especially in the days before the DVD extra.
Exactly.
Like, this was sort of the first, outside of specific publications that discussed Doctor Who, this was the first...
A giant cat.
Oh my god, it's the goodies! This was the first, like, look behind the scenes, really, on television, because this went out on BBC One in 1993, ahead of the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
And then this VHS version came out the next year, with the extended cut. And it's like the first time, really, that the public's being shown, aside from, like, monsters popping up on Blue Peter and the actors doing promotion, this was the first ever, like, here's how it's made. Here's Barry Letts. Here's Verity Lambert. Here's Philip Hinchcliffe. Like, here's Eric Sayward.
Here's Verity Lambert.
Here's Jonathan Turner without a beard or a Hawaiian shirt. Like,
I know, it looks strange.
Here are the people who made the show that you've all watched and, you know, like, shown to your kids.
Sorry, the animals.
You know, that's kind of unique. Like, it's a DVD extra on telly.
Yeah.
Narrated by the wonderful Nicholas Courtney.
Yay!
It's been a nice way to kind of cap off the classic run. I mean, there are already people writing in the comments right now, hang on, you're not done the TV movie. We're talking about the original run on television.
Yeah.
It's been a nice way to cap it off and sort of, it feels like a sign-off. It feels like we've gone, oh, there we go.
Yeah, which makes me sad, kind of.
But the documentary made you happy.
Yeah.
Talk about things you like today. I'll kick it off. I love the little vignettes that have been filmed especially for it, like the little kid in his dressing gown, like running around at the beginning, shooting at monsters, and then showing that he's actually in the living room about to watch it, and he's getting himself all worked up.
That was so cute. That was really well done.
And he gets two endings. He gets a happy ending where he goes off in the... Well, no. He gets two horrible endings. He ends up in the TARDIS with Carol Ann Ford getting attacked by a Dalek.
Oh,
or he ends up being attacked by a Sontaran and a mind-controlled Sarah Jane.
Oh,
no! But yeah, I like the vignettes. I think they're lovely. Yeah. I think Colin and Nicola walking down the steps of St. Paul's is quite fun.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Courtney being attacked by Autons is quite fun. But I think my favourite one's probably Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred in what's clearly a laser quest.
Yeah.
Being harassed by the Destroyer and a Hemovore, who then it turns out they're busy mates with. And you know full well that that's just those two on the day going, can we, like, be friendly with him instead? Would it be funny if at the end we're just like, hiya, you're alright, how are you doing? Because it's the only one of those that doesn't end with a cliffhanger or a scare. It's just brilliant.
So cute.
What about you? What stuff did you dig?
I loved those, but I also just loved seeing the companions again. Like, I love Perry. Love Perry.
I know you love Perry.
Joe. Love seeing that.
I know we didn't see from anything from Katie Manning, and I appreciate they obviously couldn't fit everyone into it. They sort of select a few people from each era to talk about it. But it's the bit where they talk about the A-level in science. Well, I didn't say I passed. You just sort of see those clips from Terry the Autons and stuff, and you're like, God, I love... Do you know what? I'm doing it. We're going to turn this one into our little retrospective chat as we go. We were thinking about maybe doing a video talking about favourite stories and stuff, but I think we can do it here, because we've just kind of reassessed the show anyway. May as well. So, like, it's made me realise, now that we've finished the classic run, and now I've seen it in its entirety, and you've seen it in its entirety as far as what is available as of the start of our mission. Some stuff's come out since, and we will get to it.
We'll get there, guys.
We'll get there one day. These bonus videos are here for a reason, folks, so we'll touch on some of the Trout and stuff later. But it's made me realise what my favourite eras are and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about it whilst we were watching it.
In the spirit of more than 30 years in the TARDIS, which also, I mean, before we start on that, I have a little thinky poo about favourites and things like that, and we'll do it, but like, it made me realise this documentary, it focused a lot on the first 4 Doctors for the first, like, 15, 20 minutes. Maybe longer. And the 5th, 6th and 7th Doctors have quite brief kind of recap in the last 15. Mm-hmm. There's a big gap in between where it goes into Dalek Mania, which was quite interesting. Yeah. And they touch on the 2 films and talk to the actors, Roberta Tovey, like, we hear her song, but also, like, see her in the documentary. And
I'm really glad they added that in.
Yeah, well, it's part of the legacy. It would have been wrong to miss it out. And it is weird to think she's saying, like, it's odd because people tend to forget the film because it wasn't part of the films because it weren't part of the TV show, but it's nice now because people, you know, it's nice to know that people do think of them. But I've always thought of the films as big as the show from childhood because of how much they were on television. Like, when we were growing up, the Dalek films would, like, be a bank holiday classic for, like, BBC Two or Channel 5, and channels like that would always put them on. So it's nice that it gets its say here and it gets its moment in the documentary. Even though we are admittedly not the biggest fans of those 2 movies, like, it's nice that they get their moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I know why it focuses so much on the first 4 Doctors.
Cool.
Because if you were a kid or a younger viewer watching this documentary, you'll only have known Sylvester, Colin, and maybe Peter.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense to be like, let's spend a bit more time on the Doctors whose adventures haven't been on for a while. Like, people culturally remember Tom.
Yeah. I mean, you can't not know Tom.
There's a lot of, like, a big bit for Bill and a big bit for Pat at the beginning. big bloody bit for John. John gets a lot of love in this.
He does.
He's also the only actor in this who just seems to be in costume when they're interviewing him as well. He's just in bloody velvet jacket and everything.
That's just how he dressed, from a certain point.
Well, I don't know about that clip from the show of the prize draw. He's in like a granny cardigan and a yellow shirt.
Bless him.
John, oh god, he was such a good ambassador for the show and clearly loved it so much.
Yeah.
What fun stuff what stuff were you happy to learn in this you didn't know? Because like one of mine is John Pertwee's favourite monster is the Draconians, or any monster where you can see their face, because he likes sort of the challenge of that performance and seeing their faces and stuff, which is very interesting because he seems very dismissive of the Daleks and the Cybermen and stuff. So he sort of realised that he as an actor wanted to act opposite the monsters.
Yeah, he recognises that. The Cybermen and the Daleks were, the monsters, everybody loves them. But here, remember these amazing monsters as well. I think, like you say, he was a great ambassador for the show.
In the Whomobile as well.
Yeah, that was his, wasn't it?
Oh, he kept it. Yeah, absolutely bloody kept it.
Did he keep Bessie?
I don't think, no. I think Bessie's out there. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments. I think Bessie is out there in the world. I've seen a Bessie. The Doctor Who Experience. The last time I went, it was in the lobby, but I don't know if it is
the
Bessie or a replica or yeah. Doesn't your tattoo say "Die, Bart, die"? No, it's German for the Bart, the. Oh. No one who speaks German can be an evil man.
Chuck in a Simpsons quote.
Oh god.
I was happy to find out that the Daleks were not just a Terry Nation creation.
Roy Cusick.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Terry Nation creation.
Roy Cusick, who got royally screwed over by the BBC's copyright and ideas.
That's a bit shafted.
And it's the fact that they don't beat around that bush in the documentary as well.
Yeah, because John brings it up because there's a competition.
On a morning on a breakfast show.
Yeah. Who created the Daleks. And a lot of people said Davros, and that's just hilarious. I love that. Because technically it's true.
Well, they're not wrong.
But he said that it wasn't just Terry Nation.
Yeah.
And that's those kind of things when it happens on live TV causes a bit of a ruckus, doesn't it?
But it's the fact that the answers in the tin weren't all Terry Nation anyway. It wasn't picking the right one because someone had answered Davros or some bugger had just put those in there as well.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so they're very truthful about the ups and downs and like they go into Mary Whitehouse and her objections to the show and they show her the old bloody battle axe and it's just like, just calm your tits.
I didn't know, John. I knew that
calm your tits, folks. It's made for kids, and they're not going to make something that's going to scar kids for life. It's healthy to watch something that scares you, especially when you're young, because it's about challenging yourself. The scariest stuff in the show, in hindsight, and in any genre show, is when you realise what things are an allegory for. Those are the scarier things.
Yeah.
Like Daleks, they can be scary, but you're not scarier. Fascism, Nazis, those things are scarier.
That's what they were a version of.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Who, like we've spoken about a lot, probably, is that it bases a lot of its stories or characters on real life events, which I think is really good.
In terms of the history side of it, and also the motivations for the creations of monsters. Were there any monstery things you were happy to learn or see?
I was happy to see the original Silurians again.
Yes,
they were
stomping around.
Really good.
I was happy to see that effects thing from On at the Mill or whatever the show's called in 1973, and they want to show off like sugar glass, and they have a Cyberman walk toward it, and it just knocks it over. But then the person in the costume, there's Pebble at the Mill, because it's live. The person in the costume does the right thing, and they stamp through the glass, and it's like, well bloody done. Imagine if it had stopped and been like, I'm trying to pick it up or something. That would have been hilarious.
When you've got a tiny frame like that and a whole person walking towards it, of course you're going to knock it over instead of smash it. And that what were they called in the big fur?
Oh, the Spiridons, but instead of looking at doing the show, phased out of, because they're the ones that are invisible. Remember, the Daleks are trying to get their the Daleks are trying to get their power of invisibility. Yeah. You just saw purple blankets walking around, and one of them bangs into a tree.
So funny. It was quite nice to see, because we were talking maybe that some of the costumes or the props would have been made by fans that we used.
In the vignettes, like the Draconian is definitely a recreation,
and the Cybermat and stuff like that.
The Cybermat's brilliant because it's got like a little red stinger on its tail, doesn't it? That was good.
Those were nice to see.
The Daleks as well. A few of them are obviously original looking ones, and some original from the show. The Sontarans look great. Like, it went for the full links, like with the dark brown skin tone and the little tongue and the hairs and the eyebrows. Which actors were you sort of surprised to see pop up in it, or which were a nice surprise? Because I think from the moment it opens, it's just nice because immediately you're like, oh my god, it's the voice of Nicholas Courtney.
It's the Brig. It's the Brig.
It's the Brig himself, ladies and gentlemen.
What was your question? Sorry.
Like, which actors were you sort of surprised to see in it, or which actors were you...
I was surprised to see Jamie and Victoria.
Yes, bless them.
They were, but a very nice surprise.
Especially because they get a little tag at the end as well, like in the Dalek, the Emperor Dalek's, what do you call it, like hideout. And it's that big reveal and the big matte painting that makes it look like it's several levels and everything. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Like you pointed out afterwards, you went, oh, Peter wasn't in it. And I was like, many people weren't in it. Tom wasn't in it. You're like, oh, but you kind of feel like Tom's in it because there's so much footage of Tom.
Yeah.
And the little ad breaks, like the ice lollies from Walls with someone sort of dressed up as Pat Troughton. And the couple of the Prime computer ads, Clever Prime. You can say that again, Clever Prime.
That was the other way around.
Probably. Yes, it was, but I just wanted to do a Tom voice. Whoa! Some clips of a Crackerjack sketch or two based on Doctor Who as well.
There was, the sketches, like things that they've added in, like the Blue Peter segments and segments from other shows.
The reveal of the War Machine on Blue Peter.
Exactly. I thought those were nice. Because I can't imagine, and I wish I could, imagine how exciting it must have been. Because there was nothing like this.
Well, especially in the 60s and 70s, a science fiction show geared that much at children that wasn't animation or puppetry. I mean, that's not to knock, like, you know, Thunderbirds and things. Jerry Anderson popping up with his kid in this documentary as well.
Yeah, cute.
Like that, you know, it's unique. And a kid's show that's inherited because of how long it goes on.
But also
that's so rare for a kid's show to go on long. Like, the only things I can think of are things like Grange Hill, like things where it's about the cast changing and it going on over the years. And Blue Peter, like as a magazine show, like presenters changing.
It was the fact that it was British, you know.
Which they talk about being probably one of the reasons it's plays so well abroad is because of it. I think
that's Dolly attacking a box. Just so you know that sound. I
think it's Colin Baker brings it up. He says like the Britishness is probably one of the things that's helped it be successful abroad.
But a lot of sci-fi stuff, obviously, was American at the time, so like Star Trek.
And especially when the show was canned, because it was things like Next Generation were coming across and doing really well.
So I think it would have been relatable and exciting for kids to see space and aliens and stuff happening in their cities, in their countryside, I just think that was really cool. In their type of school, I just think that was probably really exciting. Mm-hmm. And I imagine the games they'd have played in primary school and stuff like that.
What, wearing it like in this, the cardboard headed Dalek with the PVC.
Yeah, so
sheeting that looked like it smelt horrible, despite what Tony Wilcox says.
Okay, releasing one of your kinks on TV, that's not great.
I love smelling PVC. Okay, calm down now.
And the bumps.
Oh, yes.
Calm down. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to pretend I was Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Also, I would pretend I was Buffy. And then I would pretend with my friend Georgia that we would be on the Enterprise. This was my game, obviously. Georgia would just be like going along with it. We'd be running away from the Borg on the Enterprise.
What you didn't realise is you were really running away from the Cybermen.
But yeah, so if I just imagine that those kids would be so excited to play in the playground the next day, having watched
Doctor
Who. Oh, I bet that was really cute.
Let's have a little touch on our sort of fave things now that we've finished the classic era in its entirety. What would you say? Let's not say we'll say favourite, but what we really mean is one of, because let's face it, there's not always a definitive answer.
No.
What is your favourite era of the classic run of the show? Looking back,
Tom Baker's era.
Tom's era.
Yeah.
The whole thing, or
pretty much the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say like the first half with Sarah Harry and Leela and Philip Hinchcliffe vibe, or the second half with Romana, Adric, and that sort of era. The whole thing.
Well, we all know my opinion of Adric.
Yeah, but like overall, Tom's era.
Yeah, I think he had the most fun stories to play with.
Forget the other 19 years. That's 7 years.
No,
I'm joking. But yeah, so okay.
There was such a varied amount of stories, like stories on Earth, stories in space, stories in history, classic, amazing monsters.
Like cats in boxes scratching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how some of the sound effects were made.
Yeah, the Yeti roar.
Cat in a box.
They revealed the Yeti roar. The Yeti roar was a toilet flush slowed down. Amazing.
That's very funny.
I didn't even realise that.
It's ingenious. I mean, if you think about it, back in the day, how they made those sounds. I mean, how they made...
I mean, to this day, but like, especially there where there's less technology to play with.
That must have been so much fun.
So, do you remember how the TARDIS sound is made?
Yeah, it's piano strings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's scraping a key up and down a piano wire.
I think that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Who would have thought of that? That's
BBC Radiophonic Workshop and all their pals.
I'd love to do that job. You know, make
Foley artist.
Yeah.
You could create the sound of a cat scratching in a box.
Yeah, just by chucking a cat in a box.
Yeah.
We didn't chuck her in a box. She loves boxes.
In a cardboard box.
What about you?
To answer my own question, it's still what it was before we began the marathon, I think. But I think that's because the marathon's just solidified my love. It's the John Pertwee era.
Yeah.
It's the unit, specifically that first two to 3 seasons of Unit, the Earthbound stuff. I love it. Like, I love the fact the potential of the show is you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
But there was just something about, like, it should have been restricting the elements of it to you are stuck on modern 70s/80s Earth and that's it. Like, somehow made them more creative, I think, because they were like, right, we're limiting it for budgetary reasons and other reasons, but it means that we can really concentrate on these stories, and you can tell those like environmental messages like the Silurians. You can dive into the idea of, like, I mean, for Christ's sake, again, in the Silurians, the first one, an infection, a pandemic. Like, they do that, and it's scary. And since we watched that story, one of them's bloody happened, and cats have grown ginormous and sniff DVD covers. So, like, you know, that those kinds of tales, and you know, the James Bondy and Adam Adamant kind of vibe of that era is something that really, it's a warm place for me. That era is the one where I'm like, I'm in a miserable mood, I'm sticking a John Pertwee story on. It makes me very happy. Very close second, Colin. Yeah.
I knew you'd say.
Yeah, those 2 seasons, man. Just, I love them. I love them. And I think following that, it's kind of tied between Hartnell and McCoy.
Really?
In terms of the eras that make me happy, yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I keep saying that. Sorry, that's very annoying. Do you know what?
Do you know what, though? Giant cat, do you know what, though?
There was not... Wait, no, that's a lie. Will you stop? Seriously? As soon as we turn the camera on, it's like, I'm going to be really annoying.
Keep going while I face down this evil creature.
Sorry, there wasn't a doctor that I didn't like. There really wasn't. Oh, God.
All the animals are getting involved
tiny
now.
Protector.
So there wasn't a doctor you disliked?
There wasn't a doctor I disliked. I've got to say, at first, I didn't really like that we were continuously with Unit, with John.
Yeah.
There's a massive hole in my legs.
You just said that on camera. You didn't have to say that, but now everyone knows that there's a massive hole in your leggings.
Sorry about that. Too much time on Earth, but then when Joe got involved, I was like, oh my god, love of my life. And
You weren't at first.
No,
do you
I
remember?
wasn't. I didn't like her at first, did I? And then I think I got like 2 stories in. I was like, oh, I love you. But now thinking back to it, I really loved that unit stuff. Really love it.
I mean, one of your absolute favourite... favourite character that's not a doctor.
No, we'll talk about that in a minute. But
companion. Okay, go on.
But
because we all know who it is. Oh my god.
All of their stories were so unique to that Doctor and were so much fun but Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker, I think they get such a bad rep because it was towards a time when it was less popular and it was starting to die out a little bit, obviously, and then completely
the finance
died out.
was being strangled behind the scenes,
but
and some of the scripts in Collins and Silvers are not quite Brill. Doesn't make me love that era any less because there's still stuff that I love in it that's like a comfort food. Nom nom nom.
But it's obvious that the people that worked on it really wanted to give it its best shot, and including Sylvester and Colin and the companions, which made them really, really, really good.
Yeah.
They made them so good, which makes it more heartbreaking that it ended.
Yeah.
When it did.
I think it's safe to say there are definitely, and we've not been shy about it, there are definitely stories we've really disliked or stories we've not enjoyed as much. Which era is the one where you think, like, if you one day were just like, let's put an old Doctor Who on, let's put one of the classic Doctor Who's on, fuck it, let's stick one on. Which era do you think you're not going to revisit in a hurry? I think we're both the same on this one.
3, 2, 1. Peter Davison.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And again, like...
He's a great Doctor. He's a really good Doctor. I loved watching him.
I don't dislike Peter Davison, Sarah Sutton, Mark Strickson, Janet Fielding, Matthew Waterhouse. I don't dislike them. But I dislike a lot of what their characters do.
Oh yeah, I don't... Not the... Was that a phone?
I think your phone vibrated.
Oh my god! What the
like
heck?
the actors themselves all go for it and they're brilliant, but just some things are things that don't gel with me. Like I've been very open about the fact I don't like the Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric team, and yet they all have really good stories from time to time where they individually shine really brightly.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not huge on the Fifth Doctor, and I don't say that as like I don't like him. He's my least. In this marathon where we're up to, he's my least favourite of the Doctors.
Yeah.
But not because I dislike him. He's just like the last on my list of like, who I jump to first.
No, I know. I completely agree.
And it's not Peter. It's just the whole. I think it's the whole era just doesn't sit well with me. Which our friend Guy is going to kill us for because this was absolutely his era. Like it's his era and he loves it. But that's fine. More for you.
Exactly.
And again, like that era contains one of my favourite stories, the Five Doctors. I adore the Five Doctors. I think we should revisit that one time, just you and I off series, and watch the special edition, the one with the altered effects, like the one I'm used to, the DVD version. Sure. Where Rassilon isn't like this, and you seek immortality, and the special edition's all different in that respect, and it sort of, I think, aids it better. The editing's a tiny bit tighter as well. But I do love the Five Doctors. Favourite companion? This is going to be bloody difficult, I think, for ye.
I can't pick a companion. I just can't, because there were so many that were just fantastic. Ian and Barbara, obviously.
Ian and Barbara, ride or die. They're our ride or die.
Barbara, absolute queen.
Ian,
goddess.
Absolute queen. Yeah, false goddess.
Ian, just what a gentleman.
Yeah.
But then you've got Vicky.
Vicky's lovely.
Who is amazing. And then you've got
Jamie for you. Are you kidding me?
Jamie. Oh. I love Jamie.
I noted.
But then you've got Joe.
You love a bit of Joe,
don't you?
don't you?
Perry.
Yeah.
Loved Perry.
For me, it's a toss-up between...
And then Ace!
Yeah, for me, it's a toss-up between Ian and Barbara.
Yeah.
Ace.
Yeah.
And Sarah Jane. I freaking adore Sarah Jane, and it's like this marathon's actually cemented my love for Sarah Jane Smith even more, because it's nice to have seen her in order completely. We began this marathon with you not being a big fan of Sarah Jane from watching the repeats when you were younger. Having spent that time with her, having spent time away from her, and having like seen her pop up, in her own spin-off and things like that since.
Yeah.
K9 and Company we're talking for canonical reasons. Where do you stand on Sarah Jane now?
She's still not my favourite, but she is so much better than I thought she would be. She was.
Therefore, she was better. Therefore, you are in a better place with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're no longer like, oh, bloody Sarah Jane. Because you used to literally be like, God, Sarah Jane.
I know.
Whereas now, what you like, just like, yeah, Sarah Jane.
Yeah, no, she was great. The stories were great.
With Christ, like Pyramids of Mars alone.
Yeah.
The two of them in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's going to be a tough one, because if you don't know names, we'll try and figure it out together. Because my wife is many things, all of them wonderful boys and girls. But one thing she also is terrible at names.
Really
People,
bad with
stories, like
I'm so
towns.
bad with names.
So let's see how we get on. Favourite William Hartnell story?
Oh, wait, can I just go back a sec?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Companions that
Stall
were...
all you like.
I need to go to bed. Oh, God. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Companions that aren't companions.
Oh, so supporting characters.
Yeah.
Like humanoid villains and other humanoid characters who pop up from time to time.
Brigadier is my favourite.
Of course he is.
100% Brigadier. And then close second is K9.
K9. Oh, K9's a companion. Absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true, I suppose.
Absolutely.
But who would yours be?
What, recurring characters? They're a villain, so they're technically a monster, but they're not, and it's the Master.
Master, yeah.
Holy shoot. Like, my love for Ainley's grown even more watching him canonically.
Yeah.
He gets a bad batch in some cases of sort of instances where the Master is kind of out of character. Like his first full story as the Master, Logopolis, is just kind of like, what the hell's the Master doing? Castrovalva, even more so. Like, he's a plotter and a schemer, and he's set out this whole revenge plan, and then he's just smashing at this box like, get him out! Give me a crowbar! You're like, what is going on? And then you get some weird stories in Peter's era, and his couple stories in Colin's era are like fun, but it's sort of like he's an underling or he's cocking up. And then he rocks up in Survival, and it's just like, God, you're sinister. Because he's really like at the end of his tether.
God, you're sinister.
No, but you know what I mean? He has no big plan. There's no way he comes out of this like a ruler or a tyrant or a king, which is what he's always after, power.
Yeah.
He literally is getting out of the situation that he's brought them there to help him get out from. And then he's like, well, I'm here. I want to kill a bunch of people in Perivale and mess with things and just screw everything up. And then eventually, I guess, find the TARDIS or just go somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care. By this point, he's a supervillain.
Yeah,
and it works. Pratt and Beavers, great. But mother-loving Delgado. Oh, my God. Again, just further cementing John's era as my favourite era. Like, Roger Delgado is an absolute delight.
Roger Delgado.
Like, love Benton and Yates and the Brigadier. Like, love all those elements. Love the weird Time Lords that seem to recur during that period, floating businessman suits above satellites and, running wellness centres and disguising themselves as the helper of their former incarnation and all these sorts of weird, wibbly things they do with the Time Lords is great. But the Master Delgado, his interplay opposite, especially Katie and John, like, just a delight. Oh my God. Just so good. And a tragic loss in general, but like even more so because like they would have wrapped up his story the next series or at the end of that series with him saving the Doctor and the reveal that maybe they were brothers and all this stuff.
Yeah. Like,
that alone would have been quite sad because I would have wanted him to come back every year, at least for one story. Like, to have seen him opposite like Tom and stuff, like, just...
Yeah.
So it's Delgado. Oh, God.
Roger Delgado, definitely.
While we've got battery, favourite Hartnell story?
The Aztecs.
Of course it's the Aztecs.
The Aztecs.
Of course it's the bloody Aztecs for you, my lady. Of course it is. You've never forgotten the Aztecs. You quote that story more than any other in the marathon from day to day. Like, every other day you'll just randomly just call me Tlatoxel.
Tlatoxel.
Or Yetaxa. And it's just like, oh my god.
What about you?
We had a fight the other day. We had to beat each other up for like dramatic reasons and all. And I tried to defeat you. I had like a giant axe and a machine gun and metal legs, and you defeat me because you just held your thumb out and pushed me to the ground with your thumb. Yeah.
But then you hit me with, you know, the hiya. No, what is it? What is it?
Hike.
Yeah, and then you hit me with that,
and then you knocked me out by casually just sort of side chopping my shoulder, and I was unconscious. As Doctor Who has taught us, that's a thing that happens throughout all of the 60s, 70s, and some of the 80s, and then in the late 80s they go, oh, sorry, it actually punch things, shoot things. Favourite Hartnell? It has always been the Aztecs. And I think on the revisit that solidified, but the Romans in a close second.
So good. I nearly said the Romans.
Like
I was
the
like,
Romans,
no, wait.
And I really enjoyed the gunfighters on a revisit as well. But it's probably still the Aztecs for me as well.
Yes,
favourite Paddy story that we've seen so far? Because I think for you, it's either, tell me if I'm wrong, it's either Tomb of the Cybermen or Enemy of the World. Because Enemy of the World gave you things you love, which is actors getting to really challenge themselves and play multiple roles, and two Patrick Troughtons, one that you're allowed to call sexy without it being weird.
Very sexy.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
What?
Oh, I don't know. Because that story was kind of the first one where you had a variety of characters. Sorry, the cat was just looking at herself in the mirror and it was quite amusing. With different accents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But then there's the one where he's on the beach and he just throws himself in the sea. And it's just that amazing shot of him just jumping in the sea. Was that the one with the... Thanks, Lena.
Sorry, bit of destruction. One moment. So yeah, favourite Pat Troughton story. Sorry, we had to get the cat out of the room. Are they out of the house?
No.
Luna's
out, but Dolly's in. Orphans are in.
Orphans are in. So go on, your favourite Pat Troughton story. Because for me, it's Tomb of the Cybermen. It used to be. I think it might be Web of Fear, the Great Intelligence, the Yeti in the Underground, and just like there's something about that. Something about that one that really tickled my pickle.
Tickled your pickle.
I also enjoyed the Mind Robber and the weird excuse as to why Jamie has a different face and has played by a different actor for 2 weeks.
So good. I think it might be what was it? Enemy of the
World.
Enemy of the World.
Yeah.
Come here.
With a bit of salamander. Third Doctor? Ooh, she's got a thinking face on.
I don't know. What's yours?
Favourite Third Doctor story for me is still, I think, Spearhead from Space, this first one. It's not necessarily a quintessential Third Doctor story, but it sets up that era and it's setting so nicely. That I'm absolutely in love with the elements of it. I think because it's shot on film, obviously it is one of the few that you can do in HD, and we watch the Blu-ray transfer of it, and it looks gorgeous. I love the look of the Autons in that. I love the breaking out of the window sequence. It's just so... It's the first... aside from, the War Machines and the Cybermen and the invasion, it's the first scene where it's kind of like, oh, yeah, look, here's the alien menace in your town. Here it is in your street, and it looks like something you walk past every day. There's something really chilling about that. And Liz is fantastic in that, and the TARDIS in the first version of the laboratory is just such a wonderful visual. This laboratory and that hall, and the TARDIS is just sort of stuck at the back. Outside of that, probably the Daemons.
That's mine.
The Daemons is so much fun.
That's mine, definitely the Daemons. It's such a fun story. And it's right up my alley.
See, I would have thought maybe yours was the Sea Devils.
But I also love the Sea Devils. No, that was gonna be my choice, and then you said the Daemons. I was like, no, wait.
I also love the Time Warrior, the first Sarah Jane one, the first Sontaran story. There's just something about that with Blood Axe and Iron Gron. Tom, the Piper's son. I don't know if he was just dubbed as a Piper or his mum's a Piper. City of Death for me still. City of Death is still my favourite classic story, and it's absolutely my favourite Tom one. But I also... Do you know what I really fell in love with this time, weirdly? Keeper of Traken. is second to last one with Anthony Ainley as Tremus and Nissa's introduction.
That's a really good.
It's like one of the few times that Adric works for me. Like he feels right in that story, and his relationship with the Doctor's really interesting, and and the Melker and the twist ending with the Master. Like that stuff is so nice. Like it's so much fun. But then again, Robots of Death, and
with Tom it's hard.
Horror Fang Rock.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good one.
Genesis of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, the Pyramids of Mars.
That's a classic. You can't not say that.
I think it's still. I'm going to be diplomatic with myself and be like, still City of Death.
I think.
Therefore, I am.
I think the whole series with the first Romana.
Key to Time.
That's
cheating.
So good though.
Whole series is cheating.
Sorry, I'm just giving the dog a medicine. Shada?
Yeah, you really like Shada. Which version did you prefer? The not quite finished version with the narration from Tom, or the partially animated one? It was all animated, wasn't it? No, it's partially.
Partially animated was good because you were in the story. It wasn't broken up by a picture and some narrations.
Then Professor Chronotis went and made a cup of tea, and then I walked over here. And Billy, how mate, have you just noticed I put a big there?
I loved Shadow, but the first story with the Key to Time,
the Rebus operation. With the long game robbery and the two con men and the okay, Rebus operation, interesting. Peter Davison. Rebus operation's your favourite for Tom?
Which one was that?
The one at the start of Key to Time with the robbery.
Yeah.
Subtrox and all that. Yeah, Spectrox and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was fun.
Peter Pumpkin Eater.
What's the last one?
Keizo Androzani. Nice. I quite like the King's Demons.
That is also good.
Yeah.
Tegan wrapped short... a bit of fur, just a fur rug all the time.
Was that the King's Demons?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, because she was cold, because it was...
Oh god, because the castle was freezing. Yes, yeah. Oh god, yeah. Five Doctors is a bit of a cheat answer for me. I do love that one, and it is the Fifth Doctor's era, but I love the Five Doctors. I get, you know what? I enjoyed Resurrection of the Daleks this time a lot more than I had done before. There's just something about the way it hit this time. Tegan's last one that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, you said that you enjoyed that one before we even watched it.
Colin's era. Any come to mind specifically for you, Millennium?
Oh, I can't remember.
For me, it's Revelation of the Daleks. Just so morbid, so horrible. Like, what is it? What's the name of the Tranquil Repose? Like, Home for the Deceased, or cryogenically frozen waiting treatment, and Lexi Sale as the DJ for the corpses, and the slimy like stuff going on with the doctors and the mortuary workers. It's just, and Davros as the great healer and all those things. It's just so weird. And the first cock joke in Doctor Who.
Yeah, that was good. I
love that one. Is there anyone from that era that rings? I mean, you really enjoyed on first watch Vengeance on Varos with Syl and all that stuff. Like, you came at that going, that was really good. Like, Syl creeped me the hell out, but that was really good.
That was really good.
Two Doctors. I know it's not the best Sontaran story, but you got more Paddy and Fraser Hines in your life.
That was really, really good.
And Androgums and them eating a whole restaurant's worth of food and killing a hammy actor.
I'm having a real mind blank about Colin. I can't remember his stories, but I really enjoyed. I didn't like his first one.
Oh, Twin Dilemma's not great at all. No.
But I really like his one, but I can't remember any of the stories.
Attack of the Cybermen, Time Lash, with H.G. Wells and the dude with his lizardy face, and the Bandrill, the like rubber cobra on the other end of the line, talking to him about like, yes, well, I'm going to this.
That one was good.
Yeah.
Let's go with that one.
All right, Time Lash for Lucy. And Sylvester's era. Ooh. I mean, for Colin, I'm surprised you didn't pick any of the Trial of a Time Lord ones, because you seem to really dig Trial of a Time Lord. Sylvester's era might be slightly tougher. Remembrance seems like an obvious answer for me, because I love Remembrance of the Daleks. But, you know what? As much as we had issues with it, on reflection, I've thought about Ghostlight more than I have most of the other stories from that era.
Which was that?
The one in the house that Ace explores when
Yeah,
she was a teenager, and
Yeah.
the one that starts out as a haunted house story, then like a Hammer horror story, and then turns into no, this is about the deconstruction of evolution, and you guys are eating primordial soup made from an inspector.
It pretty much changes.
It just gets really creepy.
The whole, like, the last episode, it completely changes.
Like, our initial reaction, like mine especially, was like, I just feel like it changes too quickly in that last episode. It's full of, and yet on reflection, the ideas have really stuck with me, and I find it really freaky.
It's
and I think the direction's great, and the look and the design of it's great. It's probably, I think it's Ghostlight. I think Ghostlight might be my favourite Seventh Doctor story. Followed actually by The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which I really enjoy.
That was so creepy. I think the one set. Oh God, why can't I remember names? It's so annoying.
Sorry, name things, monsters. What the monsters look like? Where was it? Where was the scenery? Where are the characters?
It was the architect. The architect in the big apartment block. It was like peach trees.
Oh, oh God! Oh shit! I'm having a moment. His first series. Oh God!
With the Reds and.
Yeah, I'm getting the name confused with another one for some reason. I keep thinking Happiness Patrol, but it's not the Happiness Patrol.
That is also.
It's Paradise Towers.
Paradise Towers.
With Mel and the Seventh Doctor and the cannibal old ladies and
I think that might be my favourite.
The Red Kangs. Red Kangs are the best Kangs. Come on, the Red Kangs are the best Kangs. They're not Blue Kangs and Yellow Kangs. Blue Kangs and Yellow Kangs are cowards. The Red Kangs are the best Kangs.
It makes me sad that Ace isn't in my favourite.
Ice hot. Sorry, go on. It makes you sad that
I had the most fun with.
Makes you sad that Ace isn't in it, but like.
But also.
But Dex was there to look after you. Pex was there to look after you. Richard Breyer's devouring scenery. Oh, do you know what? Now you've said it, Paradise Towers is kind of special. Oh,
and all Mel wanted was the pool.
All she wanted was a dip in the pool. God damn it. That being said, the Happiness Patrol.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
As much as I ripped it apart and it was hilarious, it was still so much fun to watch. But then also...
Oh, God.
The story with... it's like Camelot, essentially, with Arthur.
Oh, Battlefield, with the Brigadier.
I loved that one.
Yeah.
That's my favourite.
Okay, Battlefield.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But then the one with the bow and the arrow and the... statue,
Silver Nemesis.
That was really good as well.
So basically, the Seventh Doctor. I think the Seventh Doctor's era might actually be your favourite. On reflection. Then again, Tom's era did really get you. Favourite monster. So like Bibbly Wibbly, Ghouly, Gooey, Mutatey, Rory. Like, what was your favourite? Not to be confused with Rory. We've not got to him yet. What would be your favourite monster? Like, oh, that beastie's a fave. Because I know you have a soft spot for the Drashigs, but that's for different reasons other than this show. Which one sticks out to you as like, oh God, that? Because having not seen Battlefield before, the Destroyer impressed the hell out of me. What?
The circusy one.
Greatest Show in the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Doctor was that?
Seventh Doctor. Sylvester.
No, not that one.
Wait.
The one with the Drashigs in. That was
Carnival of Monsters. John Pertwee.
That was a good one.
With the microscope. The whatever it is, and everyone is inside. All the monsters are inside it in different worlds. And Vorg runs it, and it's a carnival sideshow. And his sidekick's sort of like a Harlequin covered in pom poms.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was really good.
Favourite monster.
Sorry.
Because I think the Destroyer for me looked amazing in Battlefield. Like I was so pleasantly surprised by that. It looked incredible. Followed very closely by the Vok robots from Robots of Death.
Yeah, they look
because that design is so good.
Really good.
So eerie. Please do not throw hands at me.
Oh, so good. I liked the original Silurians with John Pertwee's Doctor.
Green with the little eye in the forehead.
I loved it.
And the little sucker mouth.
Looked really cool.
Mm.
The other one that I had in my head just then has disappeared. Because when I have to think under pressure, my brain turns
As soon as you
to
finish
rice
recording,
pudding.
you'll remember.
Yeah.
Can you remember the Doctor? I'll narrow it down.
God, what was it?
What was it? Is it fangy? Is it blue? Is it green? What is it? Is it a monster or is it a robot?
It's gone straight out of my head.
Ah, the Spiridons, the invisible ones.
That one. Yeah.
Planet of the Daleks, fantastic.
Yes.
That'll do, yeah, Bolters.
God, what was it?
Don't worry about it, it's fine. Here we go.
The Autons are good as well.
Oh, balls, yeah, the Autons.
It's hard to pick, isn't it?
You quite like the Tetraps as well, the bat from Time in the Rani. Like the bat-looking dudes with the eyes all around their head.
Yeah, they were really cool.
Fifi as well was a big favourite for you. You bloody loved Fifi.
Cute.
I love the Rutan though in Horrifying Rock. Just a big green glowing jellyfish just climbing up the stairs. It's just like glowing mass of stuff. The Axons, both versions of the Axons look great. The golden humanoid form they used to talk to people, and then just the massive orange tendrils.
They were really creepy.
Oh god, they were great.
Oh, so many stories.
I
can't remember which one I was going to say. I'll comment it if I can remember.
Favourite Doctor. Now, you've had a clear favourite this entire run, but you've now absorbed every single era of Doctor Who there is, because there were only 7 eras, folks, because that's what we're up to in this marathon. Which Doctor is your on top? Has it changed, or are you ride or die?
Let's go with who's your favourite first.
From the original run?
Yeah.
It used to be John. Now it's not so easy, because I always have loved William Hartnell's Doctor. I've always loved John Pertwee, and I've always loved Colin Baker. This really reignited my love of Sylvester.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of made it tough. I think I have to go with John, because he shares so many of the things I like about Hartnell and Colin, like the abruptness, the alienness, the nasty attitude sometimes, like, you know, the sort of the very disconnected attitude rather from a human. John has that too. He learns to be a little bit more charming and less temperamental as his time goes on, as he starts to realise, okay, maybe I'm enjoying this time here, and then at the end, like, well, I'm going to be here and go to space, and I can do what I want. Like, but at first he has that temperamentalness, which I like. The action man kind of thing, he's so different from any of the others. None of them quite do it the same way he does. He's Sherlock Holmes, he's Adam Adamant, he's James Bond, like, he's all those kind of archetypes rolled into one, and yet he's unmistakably still the same fella as the other 6. So I think it's still John. But this marathon has really made me appreciate everybody even more than I did.
It's really tested your faith.
Yes. Tested my faith. Joe. What about you? Whom out of Bill to Sylve is your favourite Doctor?
Who do you think it is?
For the longest time, it's been Paddy T, Mr. Patrick Troughton. I think it's still him. But I think Tom came in a very close second. Then again, Sylvester really won you over in his last couple seasons.
Sylvester.
So I'm curious who's come out on top for you as of the end of this marathon.
My favourite Doctor.
From Doctor Who 1963 to 1989.
And of all time.
Oh my god, we've not even gotten to the modern era in this marathon yet. You've not watched all of it though. You've not watched all of it, have you? You've not watched all of it though. You watched half of it. You watched like half of it. Is
Patrick Troughton.
Of course he believed this. Of course he believed this. And you lucky sod, you got to see more of him than any of the other buggers, because he popped up 3 more times.
Yay! There is no other Doctor, who just the mere sight of him makes me happy. I relate to him a lot, like, as much as you can to the Doctor, I suppose. That he seems to have like a little internal panic when he comes across a situation, but then he he sorts it out, and he kind of flails a little bit, but he gets the job done. And I feel like that's how I live my life.
Well,
Have a panic.
having a paddy, freaking out. They're going, right, just keep going. Let's get this over with.
Just do that, and then I'll get my recorder out. Which I often do.
Get me recorder out. I'll get me little recorder out.
No, I think he's. I can't
record your voice, but you can ask me to take a note for you.
That's weird.
I hate when it does.
Our Google Home Assistant just asked if we wanted to record our voice. That's creepy.
But no, he's so fun. He's goofy. He's heroic. He's so clever. He's kind of sneaky. Like he tricks his enemies.
It's sort of him and Sylvester's main trick is clowning until the bad guy completely underestimates them and has already set off their own demise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just love him.
Plus, of course, you got Ben and Polly and Victoria and Zoe and Jamie, who you all adored.
Zoe and Jamie are and Paddy are just the dream team. I love them all.
Yeah.
I love them all. I really didn't think I'd like Colin. His first story, I was like, oh my god, I hate this. I even texted Guy and was like, ew, what the hell? What the hell is this? And and he said, yeah, it goes downhill from here. But you were incorrect, Guy. I'm sorry, I love you so much, but you were incorrect. I'm afraid.
He likes to watch us suffer. The first time I ever watched season 24 was when he was staying here, and he just was like, right, we're watching all of Sylvester's first series, because you'd never seen any of them, and I was like, do I have to? And we did. I came out the back of it going,
yeah,
I enjoyed a lot of that, but it was awful. And he went, yeah.
Yeah, it's awful, but...
Then season 25 and 26 more than make up for it, overall.
It's awful, but the actor of the Doctor, I find for...
None of the Docs have been bad.
No, they've really not. I mean, Peter Davison, I really hated his run. I'm sorry. I could not stand it.
But it wasn't Peter Davison.
It wasn't Peter Davison at all. He was the best thing about it. And that's just a testament to those actors of the last three Doctors, is how strong of an actor they are.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much carried it. Peter Davison definitely carried his era. Definitely. I mean, it makes me sad that, like, Turlo and Adric could be people's favourite companions.
Wow, why does it make you sad?
Because they're so boring, and I just wish that they would like somebody else more.
Again, not Mark Strickson or Matthew Waterhouse's fault.
No, not at all.
Like, it's all the elements playing together. Like, you know.
But, yeah, no Doctor was bad.
That's Turlo at the door.
No,
He's got a rubber chicken and he's going to hit you with it.
Adric having a paddy.
God, when he basically tells him to shut up in Fort of Doomsday when they're sat in the audience, remember, and he's just like, right, for starters, stop being an idiot. And so it's just like, you go, Doctor.
It's like a dad telling off his child.
It's brilliant. So...
Adric, get out.
It's now nearly 60 years in the TARDIS. This documentary is nearly half as old as the franchise by this point. That's a weird
video
thought.
is nearly half as
This
long.
video is 4 hours long and in 2 parts. I loved watching this documentary. It really did sort of feel like and, you know, hey, we're done. Thank you so much for the ride kind of job.
Yeah, definitely.
Seeing the outtakes over the credits is wonderful.
Yeah. Do you know, if you're having a bad day, put on some outtakes of something. It will brighten your day.
I mean, something that you love. Don't put on something you hate. You just get annoyed.
Highly recommend the outtakes from Phoenix Nights. Just saying. They're like 40 minutes long and they will make you happy. But seeing little glimpses like that reminds you that all these people are human.
And also, it was the first glimpse for a lot of people of Sharda.
Exactly.
Because the outtakes are full of Sharda outtakes.
Oh, Sharda was so good. I feel so sorry that the strike happened and that it was never... What are you doing? No. And it wasn't shown because it was such a good story.
It's more than had its day now, I think. Like, it's had enough of it. People know it and versions of it exist now for them to enjoy. So, it lived on, as does the classic era. And at the end of this documentary, they very briefly go, Doctor Who to be continued, ? And they talk to Alan Yentob, the then Director General of the BBC. They say, is it true you're in talks with Universal and Steven Spielberg to bring back Doctor Who? And he basically goes, it's early in these sorts of things, so you don't want to, confuse or cross wires by talking to people, telling people things that they're not meant to know. And that's all I'll say. And of course, what's next in our marathon, dear not Chris?
It's the animated stuff, isn't it?
No.
Joking, it's the movie.
Yeah. Join us next time as we pop into the briefest continuation of Doctor Who. He's back, and it's about bloody time. The TV movie next time. In the meantime, what are your favourite memories of our marathon so far? Have you enjoyed watching us wax lyrical about this show? What have been your favourite Doctor Companion, monster series, serial, etc.? Let us know down below.
Adric!
We will see you very soon. Stop squeaking that dog toy, Turlo. What's wrong with ye?